My name is Brianna, and this is my infertility journey. And I want to start this video by addressing something that was brought up to me by a friend that had watched the video about pregnancy announcements while going through infertility. And if you're looking for that video, I actually ended up deleting it. And that was only because um, this friend of mine brought to my attention that some of the things that I had talked about and the way that I presented them came off as potentially hurtful and insensitive. And that was by no means what I was trying to do. And I know that I am not perfect. And in a public setting like this, I'm going to make mistakes, but I want to make sure and right those mistakes and learn from them. And so that is what I'm here to do. I'm going to be remaking that video in a way that is more intentional and kind of serves the purpose I want it to serve. And overall, my intentions for this channel is just to have a safe space to be able to talk about my own journey through infertility and have friends and family be able to follow along with me in a way that works for me and that is safe for me and my mental health throughout this whole process. And I also want it to be a safe place for other people to be able to share their stories of infertility. But I also know that there's going to be people watching my videos and my channel who either know me and care about me, and that's why they're watching. So they may not have any experience with infertility or know anybody that is going through infertility other than myself. And I want those people to feel comfortable here, as well as just people who I may not know or who may not know me but want to learn more about infertility and just the different phases of infertility, whether that means that it's just something they're interested in or whether it's because a friend or family member of theirs is going through a similar story as to mine and they're trying to educate themselves just by hearing different stories. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on infertility in any means. This is just a space for me to share my real and raw story of infertility step by step, and you guys are learning it as I'm learning it and as I'm processing it. And that's all, not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be pretty. Um, and it's a really difficult thing that I'm struggling with in my life right now to even process myself. And so when I make these videos, I'm not even, a lot of times, the video itself is helping me process through what I'm going through. And so I'm still trying to figure out how to say out loud everything that I'm feeling and thinking. And I know I'm not perfect. And I know that because I'm struggling to even get it out into words at all, that I may make mistakes in the way that things are presented or the way that they come out as I'm processing them may come across as insensitive or hurtful. And if that ever happens again, I would hope that somebody would tell me um, in a really kind and in a way that's, to promote growth and kindness, like the friend of mine did. And so from this point on, if that you feel that my intentions aren't shining through, I want to know that. And my intentions for this channel is to have that safe environment for myself and others, and also foster love and support and create kind of a community of love and support for those going through infertility and those wanting to learn about infertility, because I think it's important to be able to build that type of community. And um, if there's ever a video or the way that I say something isn't shining those intentions, then I do want to know that. And I want my audience to feel comfortable enough to contact me and to share their perspective with me, because as much as I can try and keep everyone's possible perspectives in mind while I'm sharing things, I am not perfect, and my perspective of the world is a unique one, just as everyone else's perspective of the world and of situations are unique based on their own life experiences. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I understand any perspective or any person's walk of life, because I don't. I know mine, and I can try to learn others and unlearn maybe things that I've learned in my past. But know that I'm not perfect and that I'm going to continue to grow. And if I'm going to be in a public space like this, that, these things are going to be pointed out. And I'm grateful for that, because it's only going to make me a better person, and realize things that, I need to change and I need to grow in. And so for that whole experience, I just appreciate that person sharing, their perspective with me and letting me know, kind of just the whole situation. I just appreciate it. So with that being said, this video is going to still be about pregnancy announcements and how I've noticed that I respond to them differently than I did before, finding out about infertility or my infertility, and through kind of looking for other people and trying to find other people with similar videos or talking about this topic. um, it's not really talked about very often. And so I think it is important to talk about. I just want to make sure that I am addressing what I want to address about it and really trying to dissect it and explain it in the way that I started to understand it in the past few days. And so I'll be talking about that. And then I also will be sharing, for those of you that are pregnant or maybe become pregnant and you have a friend or family member who is going through infertility, and you really want to make sure that you are being as sensitive as possible to their situation, but also being able to, enjoy and celebrate yourself and your pregnancy. um, I'm going to share some ideas and just some things that I've heard that help, to be able to ease the blow, I guess, as far as a pregnancy announcement, because honestly, it's the most beautiful and exciting time of a person's life or people's life to become parents. And it's something that you're excited about and that you want to share and tell the whole world and your friends and your family, and you want them to be excited too, and you completely deserve that. And I think everyone deserves that. And just because you have friends or family members who are going through infertility doesn't mean that you don't get to have the pregnancy announcement that you've always dreamed of. If you want to be sensitive to those people and that it's really important to you for them to know that you're thinking about them, even though you have this pregnancy and this baby coming, but that you do truly care about them, and um, you know want to be sensitive to what they're going through. So I'm going to share a little bit, of just different ways that you can present that information to them, and in a way that's going to be supportive and um, help them to be able to process their conflicting emotions about your pregnancy announcement, and also be able to give you, the excitement and happiness in response to your announcement that you deserve. Because it doesn't mean, just because people are going through infertility doesn't mean that we're going to be mad at people who are pregnant or becoming parents. And it doesn't mean that, we have anything against you or them. It's just a reminder of the difficult things that we're facing in our circumstances. And so I've learned that it's kind of this system of like checks and balances. So you have on one side happiness and excitement and, the socially accepted response to a pregnancy announcement. And then on the other side, you have what some of us who are going through infertility feel, in addition to that, is kind of sadness and just anger and things. And it's none of that, none of this side is towards the people that are pregnant or expecting. All of this, all of these emotions, or these like negative emotions, negative thoughts, are about, our situation and kind of the sadness for our circumstances. And it's that anger, despair, and frustration of our own circumstances that is just brought on by, um, somebody in your life going through or becoming pregnant. Because um, when somebody tells you that you're pregnant or when you're going through infertility, it feels like everybody and their mom is pregnant or becomes pregnant while you're going through that, because you're hyper aware of those things. And um, because it's something that you've been told that you can't have, and do achieve that, or if you do become pregnant, um, it's going to be very, very difficult to get that, to achieve that. And so when people, kind of show that thing that you're working so hard towards and that you want more than anything, and they have it, it just makes you realize, oh, I don't have that yet. And you're a little sad for yourself. And that's okay. And I think we need to look at this situation as pregnancy announcements or engagements or all of these huge life things that are so exciting and life altering. I think we need to relook at how we, as a society, the expectations we have on people's reactions to those things. Because if you just got engaged or you just found out that you're pregnant, your mind is just probably overly excited. Maybe you're a little scared too, because it's scary to be entering, a new part of your life. Um, but you're excited, and when you want to, announce that to your family and friends, it's an exciting time, as it should be. Um, and you want them to be excited and really happy for you as well. And just because we're going through infertility, or there's people that are going through infertility, um, it doesn't mean that we can't be happy for you or excited for you. Um, it just means that, before I had this diagnosis, I was the first person to be excited about a pregnancy announcement. I love babies. I've always loved babies. I love everything about pregnancy. I don't know what it is. I've just been completely fascinated with this whole portion of a woman's life and a woman's body. So I just been incredibly excited every time. I don't even need to know that person very well to be just like as excited as their mom would be to to learn that they're expecting. And so, you know, when I recently had somebody who is pretty close in my life announce that they're expecting a baby, and my reaction wasn't the same excited happiness that I always feel. The first thing I felt was guilt that I didn't feel happy and excited right away, and shock that, it was almost like a reminder that, wow, it really is happening for everybody else but me. While God or the universe is telling me it's not your time yet, it's going to be hard for you, it'll be worth it, but it's not going to be easy for you to get, achieve this thing that you so desperately want. And then it's like the universe and God is showing you everyone else is able to get it, but you can't get it yet. And so I know that that seems unrational or irrational to some, but the end all be all is that we can't control our emotions as much as we would like to and as much as we try. Um, we feel what we feel, and I think we need to recognize our emotions are valid no matter if they're the socially expected response or not. I think we need to normalize the fact that people don't have to respond to those things in a certain way. And so again, back with those checks and balances, when when you're going through infertility and somebody close in your life, whether that be like a family member, a really close friend, a classmate, a coworker, when somebody that is regularly in your life, week to week, day to day, um, announces that they're pregnant or that they're expecting a baby, um, it is difficult because you're reminded of all of your circumstances. You are probably a little bit happy and excited for them too because they are so close in your life, or they, are a part of kind of your community, and they will continue to be a part of your life for who knows how long, because they are in that close knit of people that you see every day or every week. And so when I had someone in that similar type of group um, announce that they were expecting a baby, I was shocked that my response, if I'm going to think of the checks and balances, was probably like 95% just shock and scared and sad for my circumstances, and just like a reminder of my circumstances, and then like 5% happiness and excited, and then just this horrible, just pit in your stomach guilt that just adds on to this side because of how low, that percentage of excitement and happiness was for me. And I'd never, I thought I was, abnormal. I thought, how could I feel this way? How could I think this way? And I just felt so bad about it. And um, seeing everyone around me after the announcement being so happy and so excited, and realizing my face was completely blank as I'm just processing like a million things a minute. Um, it just was a hard feeling, because it was the first time that I realized my life is different now. Like, and there's no going back. Like, it'll never be the same. And it's hard for me to talk about because um, that week and that day was already really hard. It was right after my first fertility appointment, and just everything started becoming really real to me. And I started to feel very depressed about my circumstances, and just kind of that despair of like, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? And all of those things that I was already feeling. And then for this announcement to happen, it was just a really challenging experience. And it wasn't anything against the announcement, it was just the fact that it was something that reiterated my situation, and how my situation is different than a lot of others. But then I think, you know, when it hit me so hard, like I literally felt like I was punched in the stomach when this announcement happened, and then the punch in the stomach again with the guilt for not feeling extremely happy and excited for them right away, um, was just hard to process. And then I had to think, other people who are going through infertility must feel this way too. And so I did. I reached out, and I kind of shared a little bit about my reaction to this announcement on one of the Facebook groups that I am on for those with infertility, and just the overwhelming amount of comments that I got of people who feel exactly the same way, or say that they could have written the same exact post. Um, it was validating in the fact that I'm not alone and that it's okay, but also validating that this is something I should talk about. And this is something that I had never heard of. I mean, obviously, you think, if somebody's going through infertility and somebody in their life becomes pregnant, that they might have a hard time handling it. But I don't want you, for those of you that aren't going through infertility, I don't want you to think that um, those of us who are going through infertility uh, can never be happy for you. Because most people, we are, there's that 5%, there's a little bit there of happiness, and a lot of times we just have to process through the shock and the negative thoughts and the reminder of our circumstances. We just have to process that a little bit, to where now, I think that announcement happened like 2 weeks ago, and now I would say that my this like equilibrium has evened out, and I would say that I'm more excited and happy for this family than sad for me, um now that I've been able to process it and really work through my feelings on my own personal situation, so that I can be in a place where being excited and happy like I want to be for these people um, is finally achievable. And I think I needed to understand that, and I wanted to share that because I don't think those of us going through infertility should feel guilty for having that equilibrium that's going to be forever changing when we hear about pregnancy announcements or somebody in our life becoming parents. Because, I mean, I think it's easy to understand why that might be. And just know that, that happiness and excitement that we're able to give to those in our lives that are expecting a baby is completely genuine. And most of us going through infertility, whether it's 5% happiness or 100% happiness, we're always going to have a little sadness for us just because our circumstances are different. And it's always going to be some percentage here. But just know, whether it be 2% happiness or 100% happiness for you or those going through becoming parents, know that it is 100% genuine. We're not just, putting on a happy face. And we do, if we tell you that we're happy for you and we congratulate you on your pregnancy, um, just know that we mean it. We're not just trying to, fake it till you make it. And we might be that way if you just told us and we're still processing through our own things. But if there's any percentage here, know that it's genuine and that we truly mean it. And we know just how cherished a pregnancy is and how cherished a new life coming into the world is, because we have to jump through so many hoops just to get that. I just want you to know that if you felt that way and you were like 95% not happy, that it's okay, and that over time you might be able to feel happy and excited for those people in your life that are expecting a baby, um, just as much as you want to be for them, and just as much as they deserve for you to be happy and excited for them. But at the same time, I really want to talk about the fact that, like, if you stay here at 95% and 5% happiness, and it takes a really long time for you to process through that, and maybe you don't, maybe that maybe it doesn't even out, maybe because what we're going through is literally so life altering and so terrifying and painful that you can't get yourself to be happy and excited the way that you want to for those people in your life that are pregnant. Then just know that that's okay, and that the fact that society expects you to be able to do that is unfair. And um, that it's okay. And I think we need to normalize the fact of of not being excited and happy. And even if we are, if there's a small percentage of our emotions that are, because we desperately want to be happy and excited for you and for those that are pregnant and expecting, um, it's okay if it's not 100%, and it's okay if it never becomes 100%. Because so with that, um the if you are pregnant or become pregnant and someone in your life is going through infertility and you want to be sensitive to them, I'm not saying that it's your responsibility to go out of your way to be sensitive to these individuals in your life. Like I said in the beginning, being pregnant or having a family that's going to grow is such a beautiful time in your life, and you should be able to have the announcements that you've always dreamed of, and you should be able to do things, um, and have that excitement no matter what. If your dream is to announce in a big way, so like at a big party with all your family and friends, at Christmas or at a holiday where everyone's going to be there, or even if you're just going to post it on social media, um, the best thing you could do is to just contact that friend or family member who is going through infertility first before you do any of those things, and just contact them and tell them that you are pregnant and or that you're expecting, and that you wanted to be sensitive to what they're going through, and that's why you chose to call them individually and tell them. And also, if you could just, you don't, and again, you don't have to do any of this, but this is if you want to. I think the best thing to do is to just take that time with them, and also to just understand that they may need to process some of their own stuff before they're screaming on the phone, overly excited. And when they do say congratulations to you and they are excited for you and they do have that reaction, it may not be that day on the phone, but when and if they do get to that point, believe it, and really know that they're coming on a place of honesty and being really genuine with you. And and then let them know, I'm going to make this announcement, when we get together for Christmas, or on this day we're having a barbecue and that's when we're going to make the announcement. I would love if you came, but just know that I respect what you're going through, and you don't have to come if it's not something you think you'd be able to or be ready for. And that way you're giving them the choice. So you're allowing them to process whatever they need to process before the announcement in a huge group setting. And then you're giving them the option to come to that group setting and be a part of that announcement or not. And I think that that is just the best thing that you can do, and um, just the most sensitive thing that you can do if that's what you're looking to do, because you're not leaving them out, you're not isolating them or not inviting them because you don't want to make them uncomfortable or make them upset, because that's the worst thing you could do, is just isolate us further than we already feel isolated. And um, know that if they do come to that announcement after you gave them the option, that they may have processed all of those things they needed to process, and that when you make the announcement and they smile and they're excited and they're happy for you, that it's real and it's genuine, and they just are they'll be so appreciative that you allowed them to process what they needed to process before being in a group setting. Because I think the hardest thing is if you are in a group setting, um, and especially for me in my personal situation, what was hard was just that I was realizing and comparing my reaction to everyone else's reaction. And the fact that it was my first time realizing things are different now for me and that I'm going to react to these things differently was really hard. And that overwhelming sense of guilt, and um especially if it's like a public thing, then everyone's hugging and excited and looking around, and especially if those in the crowd also know that the person's going through infertility, it could be a lot for them to handle because everyone might be looking at them like, oh, she's probably mad, oh, she's probably upset, all these things. And so that's like the best advice I could give, to be a kind human and be sensitive to those people in your life that are going through infertility. Um, but again, I really don't think it's your responsibility as somebody who's pregnant or expecting to go out of your way to do that, because I think the hardest thing is that not many people are public or open about their infertility issues, just because of the nature of these issues are more personal and sensitive. So, someone in your family or your friend group may be going through infertility and you don't know, and make an announcement and they aren't happy or they cry or they're upset. Um, that's not your fault. And I'm not saying that it's your responsibility to know who's going through infertility and to go out of your way to do what I recommended to do, because it is hard to be able to know who's going through infertility, who's not, and um, you're already probably so stressed out and overwhelmed with everything that includes with finding out that you're pregnant or that you're expecting a baby. And um, I don't want this to be another thing on your plate that is overwhelming you. And I know that those going through infertility wouldn't want to overwhelm you with something um, that they're going through, but it's just for your information. If it is something and there is somebody you know is going through infertility and you really want to be sensitive to them, um, I think that's the best way to do it. So, this video ended up being extremely long, but I really think it's an important topic that I think we should continue to talk about and really put ourselves in other people's shoes and try and just be kind humans and genuine and authentic and just sensitive and kind at the end of the day. So, with all that being said, thank you all for hanging in there and watching this video. And I hope um, it was able to give you a differing perspective on pregnancy announcements and just the whole topic. And I really hope that if you did watch the first video that I and you were hurt, or you felt that I was insensitive about what I was talking about, or you were upset with that video, I do hope that you allow me to have this growth and allow me to make mistakes and make them right, and know that I am incredibly sorry and want nothing but to have this be a safe place of love and support for all. And I will continue working to make it that way. And um, yeah. So thank you. If you want to share your story, please do in the comments. I think the more we talk about this and the more we share that a lot of us are feeling this way about this topic, um, just the better the world can be and the better, less isolated we can all feel. And if you want it to be more private, you can always use the email in my bio to have more of a one on one conversation about this. And yeah, thank you all for watching and, following along my journey, and just sending baby dust to all those that are wishing every night for their babies, and love and support to all those that are pregnant or about to become parents, and just positivity to everyone. And thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.